Can roll on into it again as well. I was just explaining to Evelyn, we are talking about the tundra biome today. So we'll be covering, again, what kind of basics are surrounding it, as well as kind of getting into our craft as well. We have a really fun craft today. So we are going to be covering, like I said, our tundra biome. So just kind of talking about some characteristics. As I was saying to Evelyn, tundra biome is actually kind of a nice one to do right after the desert, because there actually are very similar things with deserts and with the tundra / Arctic biome. Basically, when we covered and talked about cold deserts, we talked about how, technically there could be a desert that is colder. Basically, that's kind of an interesting it basically is one of those things that, again, is very similar to a cold desert. So like I said, we'll go over kind of the main characteristics, again, of talking about or relating it to what it is. So again, first thing you think about when you think of a tundra is it is dry. So again, very similar to your desert habitat. It is dry, meaning that there's not a lot of rain that occurs. So you think about it, you're like, well, there's a lot of snow there. I wonder, how did that snow get there? Why is there snow there then? And the thing about the snow that is in the tundra is that it's actually been there for a really, really, really long time. And the reason that the snow and or icebergs and stuff like that have been there for a long period of time is because it's so cold. When you stay at a constant frigid or cold temperature, your snow and your ice and stuff like that is going to last, or it's going to stay there for a really long time. Obviously, we know as snow and ice heat up, they obviously melt, become water. But again, you don't really have that in the tundra. You always pretty consistently have very cold weather or cold temperatures. So what happens is, again, all of that snow and ice basically just stay there all year round. So you can see even down here in these pictures, you can see, and it shows the snow and everything at that point as well. So again, very easy to see and stuff like that. And we'll talk about the different seasons as well. So again, very dry. It rains / snows not very often, kind of thing. So give me 1 second. And another friend, hello, welcome, welcome. We are just covering our tundra biome real quick. So again, next characteristic of your tundra is, again, you have your ice and your snow. So again, looking at this picture specifically, you can literally, that's all you see is your tundra, and your on your tundra is your snow and your ice. Again, you do get some other things that do occur there, but again, not very often, doesn't happen, or it's only during a certain period of time. Also, something to note about your tundra biome is that it's pretty dark. So because of where it's located, you have your tundra biome basically at the top of your globe and also at the bottom of your globe. So you have it at the very top, kind of like where your Canada, Greenland, Arctic area is, as well as at the very, very bottom of your globe where your Antarctic area is. So because they're in those locations, they are special, and they do have a special time of year where it is completely dark all year round, or all day round, I should say, not all year round. So there isn't any sunlight that reaches that part. And that's just based on, as we rotate around the sun, there's certain areas, again, that get that sun all the time. So again, very interesting, and also an interesting thing to think about. And then obviously, last but not least, the area is cold. Like I said, it basically stays cold all year round. It does have a summer season, or a warmer season, I should say. I wouldn't necessarily call it summer. So you can see down here during the summer season, you do get some of the snow that does, and the ice that do melt and kind of give way to some of the actual ground area. And that's covered with smaller plants, or kind of adapted plants like lichen and mosses and stuff like that. Basically plants that can be under snow and ice for a certain period of time. And then when it warms up and all that melts, they can be out and, again, getting all of the things that they need, like sunlight and stuff like that. But it's important to note that there's not a lot of animals or plants that can really live in the tundra all year round, or can really handle being in an environment that's really cold and stuff like that for a long period of time. So again, just something to note for those places. Again, only plants really only live there, or they're only around for certain periods of time in terms of when they're active. They then can go into a dormant or like a sleeping stage where they're not really active at all. And then we'll cover animals as well. So in talking about animals, there are certain different kinds of groups of animals that like to be in the tundra or can handle the tundra biome. So probably the one that you think about or the most iconic is your polar bear. So polar bears, again, have to deal with the cold. How do polar bears deal with the cold tundra? What do they have on them that helps them deal with it being really, really cold? Let's see, Eliza, go ahead.
They have warm, cozy fur.
Yeah, they have warm, really thick fur, and that helps kind of keep in all of the heat on their bodies. So just like, for any animal that has fur, generally it has it so that way it can keep itself nice and warm. Polar bears are the exact same way. They have really thick, warm fur that helps keep them warm because, again, our tundra biome is really, really cold. They also have really cool feet. They have padding on their feet that helps keep their feet warm as well. Also, too, a lot of animals that either are in the Arctic biome or tundra biome, the thing to know about them is that they're not there all year round. They're only there for certain periods of time. So for example, like your reindeer or even your bald eagle, they'd like to be there during kind of the summer season or the summertime when either the grass is exposed and they can eat the grass, or the ice is melted and they can potentially get some food like fish. So a lot of animals don't stay in the tundra all year round. There are a few exceptions. For example, polar bears tend to, but they also kind of go down to warmer areas as well when it gets too cold. Other animals such as your snowy owl, again, they visit there when it is warmer and stuff like that. So again, just kind of depends on again, where exactly it's located and stuff like that. So, but again, different animals, as you can see, have different kinds of things that help them. Also looking down here as well, you have your Arctic fox. And your red fox. So again, you can probably tell which one do you think deals or lives in the tundra based on just looking at them in the pictures. Which one do you think handles the tundra maybe a little bit better or might be adapted to live there? Evelyn, what do you think?
Arctic fox.
Arctic fox, yeah. And why do you think that? Why did you think the Arctic fox maybe deals or lives in the tundra or Arctic? It's probably a big hint.
Arctic in its name.
Arctic in its name. Pretty much, but say that probably gives you the biggest indicator. Also, do you notice what color the Arctic fox is? Yeah, I was say, I saw Eliza mouth it. Yes, the Arctic fox is white. And why would it be helpful to be white in the Arctic? What do you think? Why is it helpful to be a white color out in the tundra Arctic area? Eliza, what do you think?
The white is a camouflage with the snow.
Perfect, absolutely. Your white color is camouflage in your snow. So exactly like that. Your Arctic fox is going to be out hunting. It's going to be trying to look for food. And so it doesn't necessarily want to be this bright red color like your red fox is, because you would probably really easily see it. So what they want, or what they have then, is they have this beautiful white kind of colored coat that again helps them protect themselves. So that way, when it is covered, when the area is covered in snow, they're able to camouflage and kind of protect themselves. Cool thing about Arctic foxes as well is that during the different seasons, they actually change their color. Now, when I say they change their color, they're not like a chameleon. They can't just automatically change their fur color. But what happens is during the summertime, what they do is they actually shed their winter coat, just kind of like their other animals that shed their coats. And they actually have a really darker colored coat on them. It's actually almost brownish, kind of blackish color. And that is because they then are wanting to camouflage with the dirt and the ground color of what the tundra looks like in the summertime. Because you can imagine if you were out here in just the middle or out here in this area and you were bright white, you'd probably be really easily seen, right? You know, your bright white fox out in this kind of brown, tannish, greenish kind of area, you would probably stand out pretty well. So they're actually really cool. Like I said, during the winter time, they sport this beautiful white coat. And then in the summertime, they do have a darker colored coat that helps, again, them deal with the cold. They also have a super fluffy tail. Most foxes do have a super fluffy tail. And does anybody know, how does a fluffy tail help you when dealing with the tundra cold? Any ideas? Eliza, what do you think?
Maybe it could keep the fox warm, the fox's nose, so he could curl up and the tail, and his or her tail can cover it.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. So that's exactly what they do. Actually, all foxes do this, or a lot of animals that have really fluffy or poofy tails. Squirrels, for example, do this as well. But they have really fluffy or poofy tails because it's another way to kind of keep themselves warm. So what they do is they, just like Eliza said, they'll get themselves in a nice ball and they'll wrap themselves up in their tail. And that actually acts like another coat or another kind of protection from the cold. So again, another thing that they have on them. So not only are they white to blend in, but they have the super fluffy tail to again help them deal with the cold. Because again, the tundra is not an easy place to live. Again, it's very cold all the time. So they need to be able to have a way to keep themselves nice and warm. So that is, like I said, that is for our tundra biome. So I thought today would be a fun activity / craft is to make a cute little polar bear craft. So what you will need, you should have a box that has, or you should have your bag for your craft that should say polar bear craft or polar bear activity, something along those lines. So the items that should be in your bag include, one should include a paper plate. So I have my paper plate already cut out, but you should have a kind of outline draw of where your ears and stuff like that are on your plate. So if you have that on there, great. Like I said, first thing is your plate. So if you want to as well, first step, so you have your plate, again, kind of cut along that line or the lines on your plate. So that way, like you see here, you can then make your 2 little ears for your polar bear itself. So that is the first step. So I'll keep talking while you cut that. Other items you should have in your bag is you should have a pipe cleaner. You should also have some cotton balls. Also should have some googly eyes, and then also have a pom-pom. And then you will also need some glue today as well. So if you have glue as well, perfect. So I'll give you guys a second, like I said, to cut out your ear shape on your paper plate. Like I said, right there. Alrighty, and next step for that. So once you have cut out your plate, next step is to actually assemble and or start your making of your polar bear. So as you can see on the paper, we're going to be basically making all of our polar bear fur with our cotton balls. So you have your cotton balls here. So what you're going to do is you're going to just kind of basically pull apart your cotton balls to make them nice and thin. So just kind of, you see right here, I'm pulling apart my cotton ball itself so I can make it into smaller kind of stretched out pieces. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your liquid glue or the glue that you have, and you're basically gonna put some glue on your plate itself. And you're going to start attaching your cotton balls onto your plate. So you can see I've already done kind of halfway through with mine. But just like I said, basically what you'll do is you'll start pulling apart all your cotton balls and you'll start to glue them onto your plate that you have cut out as well. So again, I know it's kind of hard to see because it's like white on white, but you can see right here, here's my cotton ball. So I just, again, I tore apart my cotton balls. I put some glue on my plate. Put some glue on. And then I will just stretch out my cotton ball and cover part of my plated area, just like this. So that's kind of that step. So again, basically you're then just going to take all of your cotton balls, again, stretch them out so that way they're, you know, nice and thinner, so that way you can cover most of your plate. And you can, like I said, just continue to put some glue on your plate and then work on putting your cotton balls on there. I'm gonna also cover up some of my glue that I have here. So that might take you a little bit of time, but like I said, feel free to Oh, I see yours. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I see, Alex, that looks awesome already. Look at that. So if you are already rolling through it, that's great. I can see on Alex that he's already completed his. Perfect. So if you have, or you're on that step, what you can do, also again, take your time if you are not. The next step is to start adding your different items as well. So we have our googly eyes as well. That's obviously going to be for your eyeballs. Again, all of these things you can then just glue right on top. So again, after you have put all your cotton balls on, you can go ahead and glue your two eyeballs on just right there. For your mouth and nose, a nice and easy way to do that is you start twisting your two parts of your pipe cleaner together. Just start kind of twisting it like this, twisting them till about halfway through. So you have them twisted just like that. And then you'll curl up the two sides just like this to make your nose and your mouth. So obviously it's not super perfect, but it's just about there. So you can see again just like this. And then again, that just gets glued right on there. And then last but not least, you have your polar bear nose. That thing gets glued right at the very top as well. That is for your pom-pom. So again, as you are working on adding your cotton balls, again, once you have all of them covering, or if they've covered most of your plate, if it's not your whole plate, again, that's totally fine. Not a big deal. Like I said, once you have that finished, you then just start gluing on your other items. So again, gluing on your eyeballs, your pipe cleaner, mouth and nose, and then your little tip of your nose, just like that. Also always fun, again, a little bit messy, but you know, that's okay, that's fine. All right, like I said, working through it. So if you are trying to do the nose/mouth part, like I said, how you do that is you just twist the two middle parts. So I'll unhook mine first so that way you can see. Doop, 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 doop. A little bit easier to show during. Okay, so you have your pipe cleaner. So if you're trying to make your nose and your mouth, what you do is you'll basically kind of fold it in half. So it's kind of like in half, just like this. And then you're gonna start twisting your middle part together. So you start twisting this middle part. You can even just start twisting it, the two ends around each other, just like this. So you start to see it's starting to come together. You're just twisting the two sides. And again, you can kind of do that just by twisting at the bottom, just like this. So you'll want to do your twisting about halfway through, just like that. So you've twisted about halfway through in the middle, and then you're going to curve up the sides of your pipe cleaner just like this. So obviously it doesn't have to be perfect, but basically you want one middle piece, and then you have your two sides curled up on the end. So like I said, you have twisted in the middle, just like that. And then these two ends that are not twisted, you just curl up into your kind of U shapes. And that then makes your mouth and nose area. And that again too, like I said, then just gets glued right onto your plate as well, just like that. So like I said, that's that. And then again, last but not least, the last item is your little pom-pom nose. So again, you have your pom-pom ball that you got. And again, you just glue that right at the very top of where you put your mouth at, just like that. And the googly eyes too, they do technically have a back that comes off. So again, there's like this very thin little piece of paper. You can always just glue it right onto your, right onto the face of your polar bear. You don't necessarily have to get that sticky part off. Be a little tricky, as I'm struggling with it too. There goes my googly eye. Alrighty, so we are just about out of time. So again, you can keep on assembling your teddy bear, or I'm sorry, your polar bear, not teddy bear. Looks very teddy bear-like. Like I said, with the different items. So again, once you get all your cotton ball covered, put your eyeballs on, your little nose, and your mouth area. And like I said, all that just gets glued right on top, kind of thing. So, oh, I see your jellyfish, Evelyn. Love it. Looks super cute. Awesome. Yep. Let's say, Eliza, I see your nose. That looks great. Like I said, your mouth and nose, I should say. So like I said, just glue that right onto the middle of your plate. Stuff like that. Alrighty, so we are just about out of time, so keep working on that. Like I said, finish it up if you haven't already. And like I said, that should be for that. And then we'll meet again for next week. So bye everyone. I will see you guys next week. Have a good weekend. I will see you all then.
Bye.
Bye. See you guys.